Welcome to the discussion on a numerical problem given in the course level assessment questions of KTU syllabus on fluid machinery course. The question is this: a centrifugal pump discharges 0.15 meter cube per second of water against a head of 12.5 meters, the speed of the impeller being 600 rpm. The outer and inner diameters of the impeller are 500 mm and 250 mm respectively, and the vanes are bent back at 35 degrees to the tangent at exit. If the area of flow remains 0.07 meter square from inlet to outlet, calculate the manometric efficiency of pump, vane angle at inlet, and loss of head at inlet to the impeller when the discharge is reduced by 40% without changing the speed. Here the discharge of the pump is given 0.15 meter cube per second, and it works against a head of 12.5 meters. That means the manometric head H suffix m is equal to 12.5 meters. The discharge is denoted by Q. The speed of the impeller is 600 rpm. It is denoted by capital letter N, the rotational speed of the impeller, that is equal to 600 rpm. Here the outer and inner diameters of the impeller are given. Outer diameter is 500 mm and inner diameter is 250 mm. So outer diameter denoted by D2, that is 500 mm. In meters it is 0.5 meters. Inner diameter is D1, 250 mm. In meters it is 0.25 meters. Since the RPM is given, you will be in a position to find out the tangential velocity or peripheral velocity of the vane at inlet and outlet, that is U1 and U2. What is U1? U1 is pi d1 n by 60 and U2 is pi d2 n by 60. The tangential velocity of vane at inlet U1 is equal to pi into diameter at inlet 0.25 meters into 600 rpm divided by 60. So you will get U1 is equal to 7.854 meter per second, and U2 similarly pi d2 n by 60. So pi into diameter at outlet is 0.5 meters into 600 rpm divided by 60. So U2 is 15.708 meter per second. Now the flow area is given to be 0.07 meter square, same from inlet to the outlet. Actually, for finding the discharge, usually we use the expression flow area multiplied by flow velocity. So for the inlet conditions, the flow area, the circumferential flow area is used as pi d1 b1, and the circumferential flow area at outlet is pi d2 b2 if we ignore the vane thickness. So flow area here is directly available 0.07 meter square. So we need not bother about the diameter or breadth. Here B1 and B2 are the breadth or the width of the impeller at inlet and outlet respectively. So the flow area multiplied by the flow velocity. Here flow area pi d1 b1, collectively it is given 0.07 multiplied by Vf1, that is velocity of flow at inlet. So from this you will be in a position to calculate the velocity of flow at inlet. What is velocity of flow at inlet? Vf1 is actually the radial component of the absolute velocity of the liquid at inlet to the vane, impeller vane. So pi d1 b1 Vf1 is equal to Q, and pi d1 b1 can be replaced by 0.07 into Vf1 is equal to discharge is 0.15 meter cube per second. So we will get Vf1 0.15 divided by 0.07. So we will get velocity of flow at inlet is 2.143 meter per second. So if you consider the velocity triangle at inlet and outlet of the centrifugal pump, which we have covered already in our introductory session on centrifugal pumps. In the case of radial flow at inlet, V1 is equal to Vf1 and Vw1 is 0. There will not be any whirl component. Vw1 and Vf1 are respectively the whirl and flow components of the absolute velocity at inlet. Here the whirl component is 0 because the flow is purely radial at inlet to the impeller vane. So alpha, the guide vane angle at inlet, alpha is 90 degree, and the relative velocity is tangential to the blade surface at inlet. Here the base of the right triangle is representing the tangential or peripheral velocity of the vane at inlet, that is u1, which we calculated already. U1 is equal to 7.854 meter per second. So in this right triangle, so we know the velocity u1, and in fact Vf1 also we have found out now. Vf1 from the discharge and the flow area, we found out the velocity of flow at inlet. Incidentally, V1 is equal to Vf1. Since Vw1 is 0 and flow is radial at inlet, alpha is equal to 90 degree. And here theta you need to find out. So how can you find theta? So tan theta is equal to, from this right triangle, opposite side V1 by adjacent side U1. V1 is equal to Vf1, that is equal to 2.143, that divided by U1. U1 is 7.854. So tan theta is equal to 2.143 divided by 7.854, and theta is equal to tan inverse of this quantity. So that will give you the vane angle at inlet. Theta is equal to 15.26 degree. Remember, the vane angle or the blade angle at inlet, that means the inclination of the relative velocity of the liquid with respect to the direction of motion at inlet. So the inclination of the relative velocity with u1, inclination of VR1 and u1, that is theta. Here the direction of motion at inlet and outlet have been represented like this in the simplest form of representing the inlet and outlet velocity triangles of the centrifugal pump. Here it is given that the vanes are bent back at 35 degrees at impeller outlet. So therefore, here the vane angle at outlet is equal to 35 degree. Vane angle at outlet is usually represented by angle phi. And here one more important thing, since it is given that the vanes are bent back at 35 degrees at outlet, this is the case of backward curved vane. Here the velocity triangles are drawn by considering the vane to be backward curved, and here the direction of rotation is anti-clockwise direction. Direction of u1 and u2 have been represented here. So one part of the solution we got now, the vane angle at inlet. Now the next is we have to find out the manometric efficiency. What do you mean by manometric efficiency? It is the ratio of manometric power to the impeller power. Impeller power is also called Euler power. Impeller power or Euler power represents the theoretical power which is impressed upon the liquid by the impeller, by the rotating impeller. Manometric power is given by rho q g into hm, and impeller power is rho q g h e, where hm represents the manometric head that is available in the question. Manometric head means it is the total head against which the given pump has to work. Here hm is given as 12.5 meters. Q is the discharge, rho is the mass density of the liquid, and g is the gravitational acceleration. Impeller power is rho q g h e, and h e is the impeller head or Euler head, that is the theoretical head impressed upon the liquid by the rotating impeller, and the impeller head or Euler head is given by Vw2u2 divided by g, provided Vw1 is 0. In order to get the impeller head, we need to get the velocity component Vw2 at outlet. So for that purpose, first of all, let us find out the velocity of flow at outlet. Component of V2 in the radial direction, that is normal to the tangential direction or direction of motion of the vane at outlet, that is Vf2. So Vf2 and Vw2. Vw2 we know it is the whirl component of the absolute velocity, which is the component of the absolute velocity V2 of the liquid in the direction of motion of the vane at outlet. So component of V2 in the direction of U2, that is VW2, which we need to find out. We are familiar with the outlet velocity triangle already. If you take tan phi from this, that is opposite side by adjacent side. See, the opposite side is Vf2 and adjacent side is this base, that is U2 minus Vw2. So Vf2 divided by U2 minus Vw2, that is tan phi. From the discharge and the flow area, we can find out the flow velocity at outlet. The component of absolute velocity in the radial direction we can find out. So Vf2 is equal to 0.15 by 0.07. That is in fact 2.143 meter per second. Since the flow area is same from inlet to the outlet, the flow component of velocities at inlet and outlet Vf1 and Vf2 are equal. Here Vf1 is equal to Vf2 is equal to 2.143. And now from the outlet velocity triangle, tan phi is equal to Vf2 divided by U2 minus Vw2. And U2 we found out already, that is 15.708, and Vw2 we need to find out. Vf2 we know 2.143, and angle phi, that is the vane angle at outlet, that is 35 degree. So in this relation the only unknown is Vw2, which you can find out. So if you operate this, you will get Vw2 is equal to 12.647 meter per second. Now we are in a position to find out the impeller head or oiler head, H suffix E, that is Vw2U2 divided by G. In the expression for manometric efficiency, see, we have manometric power divided by impeller power, that is rho qg into hm divided by rho qg into he. Rho qg from both numerator and denominator can be cancelled. You will get hm divided by he. This is an expression for manometric efficiency of the centrifugal pump, and hm is given as 12.5 meters, and he, that is Vw2U2 divided by G. Now we are in a position to find out this impeller head or oiler head. So if you substitute Vw2U2 divided by G instead of this He, you will get the most simplified form for manometric efficiency. So manometric efficiency is equal to G into hm divided by Vw2U2. On substitution, you will get manometric efficiency is equal to 9.81 into hm is 12.5, Vw2 we found out 12.647, and U2 is equal to 15.708. So manometric efficiency is equal to 0.6173. That in percentage you will get 61.73 percentage. Now what is this oiler head? That also we can find out if you want. Oiler head is equal to Vw2U2 by G. If you want it separately, you can find out by taking Vw2 into U2 divided by G. Vw2 12.647 into 15.708 is U2 divided by gravitational acceleration. G is 9.81. So the oiler head or theoretical head impressed upon the liquid by the rotating impeller H suffix E is equal to 20.251 meter. In fact, the manometric efficiency can be interpreted as the ratio of manometric head to the impeller head. Now the third part of the question, the loss of head at inlet to the impeller when the discharge is reduced by 40% without changing the speed. In this case, what we should understand is the discharge given 0.15 meter cube per second. If that is the design discharge, then the pump will give better performance, or in fact the best operating condition is at 0.15 meter cube per second discharge and the manometric head of 12.5 meters, the given conditions. So whenever the discharge is increased or reduced, then what will happen is there will be loss of head, because the operating condition then will be deviating from the design conditions. So in that case, what will be the consequence? See, when the discharge is reduced by 40%, what is happening? The new discharge now is 40% is reduced. So what is remaining is 60%. So the earlier discharge or the rated one is 0.15 meter cube per second. Maybe that is the design discharge. Then 60% of that will be the new discharge after the 40% reduction. So 0.6 into 0.15, so you will get 0.09 meter cube per second. That is a new discharge. See, from the new discharge and the existing flow area, because that cannot change, the circumferential area of flow at inlet and outlet are same. So that is 0.07 meter square, and the new discharge is 0.09 meter cube per second. So from that you will be in a position to find out the velocity of flow at inlet at the off design condition. Off design means when the discharge is deviating from the rated value. So VF1 dash, see, that's how it is denoted. So VF1 dash, that is the new velocity of flow or reduced velocity of flow at inlet. So we are considering the inlet conditions because we have to find out the loss of head at inlet to the impeller. So what you can get is 0.07 into this new velocity of flow at the off design conditions is equal to 0.09, that is a product. VF1 dash, see, this is VF1 dash, and that VF1 dash is 1.286 meter per second. That is the new velocity of flow at the off design conditions. See, off design conditions means there will be losses in the system. Whenever we have the deviation from the design conditions, the consequence is like this. Here the original velocity triangle at inlet is this one, represented by say AB1, and here the base of the triangle AB is representing the original tangential velocity U1, which is pi d1n by 60. Here in the problem it is given that there is no change in the rotating speed or rotational speed of the impeller, even though we are changing the discharge. So the discharge is reduced, but the tangential velocity of the vane at inlet, that remains the same. See, as a consequence, what will happen to this triangle? Now VF1 dash, the velocity of flow from VF1, the original one, 2.143, now that has been reduced to VF1 dash. See, as a consequence, what will happen is here the relative velocity then will not be tangential. See, that is how this kind of losses will occur. The kind of loss that will occur in this case can be called shock loss or incidence loss, because the relative velocity will not be then exactly tangential to the blade surface at inlet. So whenever there is such a case, there will be shock loss. So in such a case, how do we find out the loss of head at inlet? So what you can do is, you can consider the deviation from the original velocity triangle. So if you consider the new velocity of flow and mark it from here, say AD is now representing VF1 dash, that is the new flow velocity, and then draw a line from D parallel to the original relative velocity. So that is this dotted line, and in fact if these two lines are parallel, obviously both lines will be inclined at the same angle with the horizontal. Since this angle theta is the vane angle at inlet, which we found out already, that is 15.26 degrees, and this angle also will be theta. So from this triangle you will be in a position to find out the base of the triangle now, the new triangle ADC. So you will get the reduction in the tangential velocity in effect, but we are not reducing the RPM. Actually, the loss of head at inlet can be evaluated by taking the change in the peripheral velocity of these two. So that is U1 and U1 dash. What is U1 dash? U1 dash is this base AC and the original one is U1. So what is the change in velocity? U1 minus U1 dash. So if you calculate the loss of head, that is the loss of head due to the shock loss, and the shock loss is arising out of the off design operating conditions, and that happens because we reduced the discharge from the rated or designed discharge, in which the pump will give the maximum performance. So here we have the loss of head due to the 40% reduction in the flow rate. So how do we get it? So we found out this Vf1 dash already, and we discussed this triangle already. This u1 dash, the new effective peripheral velocity or tangential velocity, the effective one you can evaluate from this triangle. So you find out tan theta is equal to Vf1 dash divided by u1 dash. See, tan theta is Vf1 dash divided by u1 dash. So u1 dash is equal to Vf1 dash by tan theta. So how do we find out the change in velocity? See, the change in tangential velocity, u1 minus u1 dash, that is equal to this BC, because u1 is represented by BA and u1 dash is represented by CA. Therefore the change in tangential velocity is BC. So BC is u1 minus u1 dash. u1 dash you will get from this relation, already we got it. u1 dash is equal to Vf1 dash divided by tan theta. So if you substitute over here this u1 minus Vf1 dash by tan theta, that is a change in tangential velocity. So you have to find out the corresponding loss of head. How do we convert that into the head? So you take the square of that and divide it by 2g. So just like you take v square by 2g corresponding to the velocity v, we have the velocity head, that is v square by 2g. Similar to that, the velocity head due to the change in velocity from u1 to u1 dash is equal to u1 minus u1 dash whole square divided by 2g, that is u1 minus Vf1 dash divided by tan theta, this whole square divided by 2g. We know all these values already. u1 is 7.854 minus this Vf1 dash is 1.286, that is the new velocity of flow at the reduced discharge conditions. Then tan theta, this is the original vane angle at inlet, which we found out already, that is 15.26 degrees. So if you operate this, then you will get 0.503 meters. That represent the loss of head due to 40% reduction in the flow rate. So it is important to note that whenever the pump operation deviates from the design conditions, there will be losses. In this case, now we have found the loss of head due to the 40% reduction in flow rate at the impeller inlet, which is 0.503 meters. If the pumping liquid is water, you can say that it is 0.503 meters of water. With this, I wind up this lecture. Thank you so much.